Alright, to provide a truly complete history of Puerto Rico, let's start at the very beginning. The universe was created at least 9.5 billion years ago. That's billion with a B. As you can imagine, not much Puerto Rican-related stuff happens for a while though. So let's skip over the following 5 billion boring years. Now there's some big rocks floating in space, and they decide to have a little get-together and form the Earth, which goes about as well as you'd expect from a bunch of dense rocks. It's kind of a hot mess. It takes another 4.4 billion years for the Earth to get its act together before Puerto Rican history can really begin. Behold, the Jurassic period, about 190 million years ago. Volcanoes scar the face of the planet, forming a large arc of underwater magmatic fissures. Scorching lava leaks out of the planetary sores. Basically, the Earth is going through puberty. The molten rock cools beneath the briny deep and piles up on the ocean floor, laying the foundation of what would later become the Antilles. After 110 million years, this volcanic activity causes the Earth's crust to crack, forming a new tectonic plate, the Caribbean Plate. About 80 million years ago, it started moving. Now, what happens next is debated, but there are two popular theories. The older theory suggests the Caribbean Plate originated in the Galapagos hotspot in the Pacific Ocean. It then moves northeast along major strike-slip faults into a pre-existing Jurassic Proto-Caribbean basin between North and South America. The newer theory suggests the Caribbean Plate didn't originate in the Pacific. Instead, it formed roughly where it lies today due to the eastward spreading axis of the Jurassic-Atlantic Ocean. Regardless, the Caribbean Plate ends up moving towards the northeast, subducting the North American Plate, i.e., the North American Plate moves under the Caribbean Plate, pushing it up at the edges. Since this plate boundary lies below sea level, it raises the crust up like an underwater mountain or DiGiorno pizza. As the peak begins poking out of the sea, the Antilles are born. Like millennials moving back in with their parents due to the faltering economy, Puerto Rico will reside here for the next few million years, in the dynamic plate boundary zone between the North American Plate and the northeast corner of the Caribbean Plate. The northern boundary of Puerto Rico is marked by the 800-kilometer-long, 8.6-kilometer deep Puerto Rico Trench. It's the deepest part of the Atlantic Ocean and the 8th deepest trench in the world. Being on this boundary, the region is seismically active, with about 5 earthquakes of magnitude 1.5 or higher occurring near Puerto Rico every day. So here we are, roughly 33 million years ago in the Oligocene, standing on the peak of an underwater mountain that's constantly being shaken. What's on it? Certainly not people. Well, there are some shrubs. Some of these still naturally exist in Puerto Rico, like Zamia and Eugenia borinquensis. Endemic ground sloths of the family Megalocnidae were also out and about. Now, these aren't the tree-dwelling algae sponges that embody my ideal retirement plan. Ground sloths were, just sloths on the ground. They were larger than modern-day tree sloths, but were relatively gentle giants. Continental North and South America had monstrous ground sloths that were the size of elephants, while the Caribbean islands, being small and hot like, left the ground sloths there to match the terrain like. Cuba had the big boys that were the size of black bears. Puerto Rico, on the other hand, had the smaller species, Acrotocnus odontrigonus, which weighed between 50 and 150 pounds, or roughly the size of a medium dog. Unfortunately, these all went extinct. Humans probably did it. There's also the oldest record in the world for the genus Eleutherodactylus, a genus of rain frogs that includes the iconic coqui. There were also like crocodiles around, but who cares? They've been loitering around the Greater Antilles for a few million years since the Eocene. Oh, there were like fish around the coast probably, and coral maybe. There's a good chance some birds flew by from time to time, which is nice. But yeah, that's the status of Puerto Rico 33 million years ago. Plants thriving, frogs croaking, a significant noticeable absence of a bass-boosted Mitsubishi Mirage blasting the sweet dembow of Ramon Luis Ayala Rodriguez's 2004 hit single Gasolina. Truly, a quiet island life. Everything was pretty chill. And it would stay that way for the next 32 million years. Then, somewhere between 8,000 to 4,000 years ago, on the horizon, something never before beheld. Canoes.